Wait for it.
Welcome to a comic book look from Tennessee to South Dakota. We are kicking that comic book flavor, comic book live, as Sam said, whenever he hosted the show. I will be your
Yeah.
host tonight. And I'm not for sure what direction everybody is.
Me?
But introducing all the homies here, we have the man, Sam. We also have John on Demand. And we have Tom, the divine one that can only be one. And I am Mark Shelton. And tonight, man, I'm just going to let somebody else do the minute to win it. Anybody got one?
Ooh. Sam does. Look at that.
Yeah, Sam.
Can I be like a different kind of nerd for a second?
Ooh. I suppose.
Okay, so I don't know about y'all, but you definitely heard about like Steamboat Willie being in public domain now, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
We should
So-
dress as Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, so I know that's what most people are going to want to talk about, but I want to at least put some light onto some of the other things that did go into the public domain this year, because I love Public Domain Day. Like that's what my January 1st is always. And I always look at what's coming up new, what's the new free stuff like we can just play around and mess with. And we had some really good ones this year, actually. The 11th Tarzan novel, I believe, The Lord of the Jungle. That's the first one. What was that one called? Like Beast. No, that's 3. All right, the 11th Tarzan novel did. There's a lot of titles, man. There's like 30 of them. That one went into public domain. The second one is a new Agatha Christie novel came in. One of her more notable ones, actually, I believe. The one that has. So I believe it's the
Lamb and the Sphincter, was it?
I think so, something like that. I was just gonna let you roll with it because
I'm not familiar with the too many Agatha Christie's. I'm more of a Brian K. Vaughan, Robert Kirkman reader. But I think the last Agatha Christie I had was the Sphincter and the Lamb, if I remember right.
But a lot of a lot of new music has hit, and I at least wanted to point toward people to look into some of this stuff because, frankly, a lot of it's very interesting. Some more Charlie Chaplin movies just came in there. Like the first full talking movie hit last year. The Jazz Singer went in. Don't watch it; it's bad and it's racist. Go watch this one instead. Where it's only like 50 minutes long. It's about these guys who steal a little bit of money and they're trying to go on the run, and it's a quaint little film that without this film you would we wouldn't have talkies or just regular movies as we have now. And so I just encourage people to go check out what's in public domain now. The character of Tigger now is in public domain. The original Tigger, because the second Winnie the Pooh book is now in. And so now the horror movies, crazy horror movie can have murdering Tigger now, I guess, because that's what we're doing. and already people have been doing making a horror movie with Steamboat Willie Mickey.
Dude, I'm so stoked for public domain, and I know this is a lot longer minute to win it than you wanted, Mark. But when does Superman go? Sam?
He was 38.
So that would put him. When does he go into public? When does Steamboat
Well,
Willie?
so that'd be about 10 years from now, because we're on that because it's 95 years after creation.
Gotcha, man. So there it goes, baby. We're gonna be seeing pretty soon. We can all just call ourselves Superman. We're the official Superman.
Boom.
You want to hear some kind of shisty stuff Disney did though?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they recently in 2018 unveiled a new logo for themselves that was it's Steamboat Willie. Just like that. Then you see that, and then the movie starts, right? Just a little clip of that. That is still copyrighted. So in a sense, if you did still use Steamboat Willie Mickey, they could still claim you because of that logo. You could still
see what the judge says.
You can fight it, but guess who? Disney will probably just make last longer than you because they have more money than you. But But that's kind of a shicey thing they did. But you can use Mickey and a lot of other characters now, and a lot of new songs and a lot of new classic movies are in there now. Like Digital Archive has it all on there now. Please go check that out. I would recommend it to people. There's your 5 minute to win it.
Crushed it, Sam. I just really quick want to jump in. We have comments rolling in. Facebook user Chad is checking in with us here. For those of you that are fresh to the show, tuning in, our Comic Book Look group on Facebook is definitely awesome to join, but it likes to mask the names of our comment submitters due to privacy. So Chad, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And of course, Sergeant's checking in with us here. Wonder Twins, Jan and Jace, since DC never wanted them. Lol. But he's saying best show of the year, guys. You're killing it so far. Nailed it. So, heck yeah.
Sarge, that's of course the comment from Sarge. He was waiting all year to comment that.
There you go.
Love it, brother. Love it. Missing link.
Awesome.
Well, cool, guys. We ready to get into it?
Yeah,
do it.
All right. I can't do a drum roll as good as John.
Ooh.
But we are going to be counting down our top books of 2023. And that's based on ones we enjoyed the most that we read this year. And it's a tough decision. We all kind of talked about as we were choosing, like it is a tough decision to choose those books. We might have some honorable mentions as well. But I'm ready to get into it. Who wants to go first?
Ooh, you're right. It was a tough year, and this was a hard decision. And I've been digging for a long time, but I did pick my top three. I don't know if I want to go first, but I would. John, did you have? I was going to say I kind of want John to go first. And then, how hard do you think it was for you, John? Because I would also like to hear that too, to pick your top three.
Yeah, all good. Randy, really quick, had a good question from YouTube. People on social media who are worried about privacy. I completely understand the irony with that statement, and let me explain. The group on Facebook, the settings are dumb. So a lot of the other places we stream to on Facebook are pages, and pages allow names of users to show up. Groups, for whatever reason, don't want that to happen. It's very frustrating, but that's why it shows up as Facebook user for those people. And Randy does follow up just to greet us and say hi to you all. And hello back to you, Randy. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. So, yeah, I have actually a slew of honorable mentions. And when are we
doing all of your mentions? I just picked my three.
When are we doing those exactly?
I was going to hold mine to the end, but if you got one you want to lift up now, I was going to be like, and this one almost made it, but this is why I didn't make it.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to group these together then. And I just want to give an honorable mention to all the spooky stuff that's been coming out. Can't even do that right. But we got Blade, Ghost Rizzy, and Scarlet Witch, ongoing series that came out in 2023. The reason why these didn't make the list was they were good, but they weren't great. So I'm just kidding. I did enjoy them. They're fun. But when you read the older stuff, you come in with that level of expectation. And these, there's just something for me where I prefer maybe some of the older tales better. But
they're written completely different than they are nowadays.
Yeah,
that's probably why it's different.
These were arguably fun though, but I just wanted to lift them up. If I didn't like them at all, I wouldn't have mentioned them tonight. But they just weren't good enough for my top three. All right, so for top three, this first one was the one I was telling you guys about, where it technically isn't the title I'm going for, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we're just going to take this cover here, but we're going to cover up Dark Ages because I meant to say Gargoyles Ongoing, because I couldn't find an issue in time.
It was so good I couldn't find it.
Because I've either filed them or I have yet to read a stack, but I have just stacks everywhere. It's so dumb. So I really like the Gargoyles Ongoing, though. It's been, I think it's up to like issue 10 now or something, which is highly commendable. But man, that issue 1, when you jump in, you can hear the character voices. The storyline is amazing. There's new characters, but they're woven in intelligently. Great time lapse, solid presentation overall. And so I haven't even read this Dark Ages one yet, but the covers, of course, look amazing. So I'm really excited to check that out. But I had to put it in my top 3 just because it's really cool to see something from my childhood plucked from the television and put into print, and they did it very well. So I just had to lift up Gargoyles.
Dope,
Isn't
John.
the creator of the show for the first couple seasons making those books by chance?
I couldn't even tell you. I
I
don't know.
think
Okay,
that's
I
right.
think that's what it is. I believe that's why it's like so like on point. I believe.
But I am in love with it. So that is my first pick. Tom, to answer your question, it was, but it wasn't. You know, because when I look at it, you have to think about what I collected. A crap ton of X-Men. Well, that's easy enough, not making it on the show. And then you know, some of the more
Yes.
cool stuff that I've blatantly said that I've been enjoying, you know. So for me it was actually a little more simple just because of all the conversations we had you know, on this. So yeah.
Makes sense, Johnny. But
Yeah.
I do love you just throwing X-Men under the bus casually.
There's just so much. Like I literally just bought like a mountain at Rainbow Lincoln, and so I kid you not, I have literally the whole Fall of X event to read right now. It is so dumb.
Until they print the next full lump of it.
Love it.
Yeah.
I actually remember, this is a funny story. I'm sorry to put it through, but this lady came on in and she goes, like, I really am enjoying I really kind of want to start reading X-Men. When should what's some good books I could do? I'm like, I hate to tell you, this is like the worst time to get in. It's like we're in the fall of like a 5-year arc.
Yeah.
What had 10 million arcs within it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. So I found her some facsimiles of some older stories. Maybe she could read those. And I also pointed her toward the Miss Marvel mutant ones. Because it's like, well, there's only 4 of them. Maybe you'd like those. And it was just I thought about that. I was like, wow, there really is no clear jumping on point with X-Men unless you just want to start at Dawn of X.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see why you kind of threw that under the bus a little bit.
Chat's checking in, just saying love the Gargoyle series. Good pick, John. Boom. That's right. So
Dude,
and
John,
sorry, Chat, about throwing Ghost Rider on the maybe VIP list, but Gargoyles had to get in the party first. So yeah.
Well, cool. Next, do we want to go up to Sam or do we want to go to the side to Tom? And then we'll just go clockwise, go around, whoever wants next.
Mark, you got to make the call, man. We ain't gonna.
You're
pick.
the judge.
You go ahead, Tom.
Oh,
and then we'll go to
man.
Sam.
There
Something like that.
Oh no, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that, brother. Number 3. It was a hard year, like John said. I'll do my runners up as well since John did his already. Shit, maybe I will. Where did I put my runners up? Oh man, never mind.
Yeah, I didn't bring them, so I'm just gonna say them myself.
Got him right here. Okay. I knew I said them somewhere. All right. So runners up are all going to be from my favorite creators.
Oh yeah.
Sweet Cheeks came out. Mikey Martinez loved it so much. Content Rot came out. My boy Mark. Fun Girl came out at. This was my favorite Fun Girl. This came out in February or January, but still so good.
Those are funky
The
books.
Volva Viking baby. Had the Alex Knoll had a great Knoll's Well That Ends Well. This little zine I got in Chicago ended up being so good. And then the boy Joey Finoli is the man. He's really cool. And Hank the Artist was a Bond super bomb book. So those are my, we're getting close, but didn't quite make the top 3. And my top 3, this is going to be, I feel like, no surprise at all. Kind of like Sam told us before the show, guys, that he's like, you guys are going to probably know what mine are. And, it's tough because we kind of all know what everybody likes, right? Now, I did know that John likes Gargoyles. I didn't know it would make his top 3.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool because it's always cool to see a licensed property like Gargoyles be able to elevate beyond just cash grabs into doing good storytelling. So I think that's really cool. Mine's different, but it actually probably couldn't be more different than a licensed property, right? But I think it's just as rad. And I know Gargoyles is super rad, and I think Poo Poo Pee Pee is also super rad.
I'll never get over that name.
All 3. This is a great series. If I had to pick my favorite, I think what I'm going to pick. It's, the issues are either boobs, 80085, 420, or 69. And I'm definitely, if you guys know me at all, I'm choosing 420. So this was my favorite issue. I think this is really funny, making fun of hipster culture, making fun of alternative comic culture, making fun of just dudes who think they're cool, chicks who think they're cool, poking fun at everybody, and then doing it in a fun, cartooning, awesome way that's super, just fun to follow along with. So loving this so much. Caroline Cash, number 3.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well, since y'all did honorable mentions, I'll go ahead and hit mine up real fast as well. Almost making it was Giant Cockju, which was basically just a kaiju monster, but it's very crude. He humps buildings and full frontal nudity from a kaiju cockju. So it was an awesome comic, though. It was a 3-issue miniseries. It was a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. These other books were just a little more awesome. If one of them had not released this year, this would have made the top 3, but that would be number 4. These in really no numerical order, just books I enjoyed. Beneath the Trees just came out, so it didn't feel right to add that to the best of 2023, but this book has been really solid so far. It's on issue number 2. Highly recommend it. And just wanted to lift up, and this might be one of John's, I know he loves these as well, but just all the Archie horror that came out this year. Those are just a lot of fun one-shots that come out. Not really a series, though, that I felt like I wanted to add to 2023. And then this was a book I read in 2023. I believe it started in 2022 and had like an issue or two come out in 2023, but I really loved 8 Billion Genies.
Oh, yeah.
This is such a great comic book. Just
much so.
Very, very well done. Loved it. And then just another one that's in that same vein. It started in 2022 and then had like an issue or two come out in 2023. I Hate This Place. This one by probably my favorite writer right now, Kyle Stark. But this was just really great. These girls like inherit a farm and then like it's haunted, and it's a really cool comic. But didn't want to pick that one as well just because only an issue or two came out in 2023. So
Starks had a new book come out today, right?
Yeah, Pine and Merrimack. I've actually got it.
Yeah,
right there. But yeah, that was it right there.
Yep. Yeah, that's hell yeah, man.
Dig his work. But what would be my third pick though for 2023, and we're going to count it down to 1, would have been, I've talked about it before, but The Pink Elephant. This is just a really great comic. Very much a horror comic. Basically, these kids are like on a road trip and they stop at this gas station, and of course they're obnoxious, and then this lady just like basically curses them, and they end up dropping acid and doing all kinds of wild stuff. And then the pink elephant is like this curse, and this slasher like lives inside the pink elephant and comes for him. It like opens up another dimension. It was just a really wild, trippy comic, and it was just really good. If you love horror comics, I highly recommend this. But that would be my pick number 3.
The art looks insane.
Yeah, really cartoony, but very violent.
Mark, Chad saying, good stuff, Mark. Have not read any of that, but sounds interesting.
Heck yeah, check it out.
All right,
dude, those are all sick runners up. And then I always just love your eclectic taste there, bro.
You,
you always get stuff that like I'm like, wait, what? Like, oh, that sounds amazing.
Trippy stuff to like intimate, touching, heartfelt stories, and then everything in between. Love it, Mark.
I thought you were gonna put like, what was it called, Burn the Orphanage on there, because you talked very highly of that one.
That one came out like back in like 2012, 2013, somewhere around in that range. I think that was whenever we were talking about books that we wanted to like be converted into movies.
Or okay.
Some of our all-time favorite reads.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is one of my all-time favorite comics.
Sarath is checking in with us saying, hey, fellas, and hey, back to you, Sarath. Thank you so much for tuning in. I miss our conversation. Sarath is an amazing human. So, yes.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So my turn?
Cool. I think you're up, Sam.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we have to listen to Sam's too.
I know, right? So I guess for my close but not close enoughs, I would probably have to say Danger Street from DC was very interesting. It was Tom King's way of saying, how much can I push my luck here with like what characters can I unearth out of nowhere and like give pathos and get more depth than like most characters get in actual books these days. Like, well, actual books, that's been mean, but like he brings back Warlord. He puts Mikkel Starman, like the blue one. He puts he gets Lady Cop, who had one book in 74 in this book, and she's the main character and shows up everybody else, and it's great. And like the one issue that kind of put me off on it is that it came out monthly, I believe, and it's such a dense and like a overlapping story book that you kind of lose some storylines in there sometimes. Like it's a much better, like every Tom King book is going to be, but it's much better going to be a read all the way through. Like it had the Dingbats in it, that Jack Kirby creation of just these like boys on the street, just who are charming but no good. And it like has like Darkseid and Orion teaming up, and it's just like not Orion, Highfather teaming up in it because like something awful happened, and the Dingbats are essential in it somehow. Just like it's like kind of like a hot streak where you have to test how hot you are, and like in basketball or something. And that one was very good. The Moon Knight City of the Dead was very good, 5-issue series. Where just Moon Knight has to go to the City of Dead and reclaim this boy's soul because he's a traveler of the night. That was very fun. Last issue was kind of to me. That's why I fell off. But it was very good. I would have to say those are my honorable mentions there, I'd have to say. Cool. But I guess the one I picked here is the most obvious. Like Cyborg. One that's obviously going to be on my list
Cyborg.
Is it's Cyborg. Detective Comics. Mark was spot on. He knew exactly what I was doing here.
It makes me want to start reading it. Actually, your love for it.
I think it just what makes it interesting to me is sometimes it's not even the story itself. What's going on is just that there's so much like it's slow burn of a comic, which you rarely get anymore, and like it has so much more like layers to it than you normally get out of a Batman book, and which this is what you can do in Detective, which you can't do in the regular Bat book. And I just keep thinking about it. I think that's what it really is. It's always on my mind. Like I'm always thinking about this one. It's usually the first one I pick up. Sometimes it's just it's like if it's constantly on your mind, you must like it, or at least it's interesting enough to you where you have to keep buying it. So I feel like that warrants me putting it on its list. And Ram V, I really hope they I hope they give him the main Bat title after Zdarsky's done on it, because he does a really good job with this stuff. And frankly, I love his horrific take on Batman. It's very fun, very surprising at times. He kind of brings Barbados back into a more terrifying state where he's not just like, I'm a crazy bat god who, like had created a dark multiverse based on Batman, a guy who just punches criminals. It's like it brings back some like gothic horror into the character again. Very interesting stuff. So, I mean, I think his run is personally ending at 1089. So I would definitely recommend this one. The covers alone are fantastic, and the backups that Cy Spurrier did for what was it? Jim Gordon. Fantastic little stories about a guy who he was supposed to retire, but for some reason Jim just can't do it. He has to keep doing cases. That's what he is. He's a detective in the end. And that's what was really cool about it. Like he gets the essence of the characters very well, and the villains are very. It's retreaded territory where it's like people who have a secret claim to Gotham come and try to take it from Batman, but like in this way it was kind of clever, and it added some different cultural aspects to Gotham I didn't think that you could do to it. I liked it a lot. So yeah, Detective.
Hell yeah, man.
Good book.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Well, gosh, I don't know how the heck I'm supposed to follow that, but I'm gonna do my best here and play, Pong with DC too, and I am going to rock with my girl, Poison Ivy.
Tried and true, John. Tried and true.
Tried and true. That's right. It's very rare, you guys, that I praise DC anything. But when I do, it's a really freaking good book. And so Poison Ivy ongoing. We're on like this is issue 16 in my hand here, but the fact that we made it over 10 is like a milestone for this character, because
We're at
usually
18 right now, I
it's
believe.
like a 3-issue thing, it's a 5-issue thing, it's a cameo, it's a story arc in Detective Boring. You know, she gets her own stuff and it's amazing. It's amazing. And I'm so happy about that. Just such a neat character. Shout out to the creative team on this. And I definitely am ride or die for this series. So definitely a strong offering. Technically probably before 2023 even, but for the bulk of the year, I have thoroughly been enjoying this issue. So,
Did you catch the cover of the newest issue?
which one? The A
18.
cover or the Christmas cover?
18 regular cover.
I did get it, but I was more focused on the holiday card one.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
It's just creepy looking. It's like Poison Ivy pregnant with like some weird like vines around her. I was like,
Oh yeah. I got the A cover.
What's going on there?
It definitely popped for
Yeah.
sure. But holy comments, we're just rocking and rolling tonight. Chop and Chops checking in. Evening comic book family, been a while, but happy new comic book day and happy comic book Sabbath to you as well. Rainbow or bust with shades, beers, and a thumbs up, fist bump, and hang loose. So that's cool. And then Chad saying Poison Ivy and Morning Sickness from Blair. I see you, Blair. Thank you. And Chad, Poison Ivy is amazing, but I had a lot of other reads, so I had to back out of it. I get that. Blair
Yeah,
saying
well done there.
love Poison. Boom. That's right. That's the homie. So, but yeah, I am very excited for a #1 book, but I can't say it until it's my turn next.
You've stayed on that Poison Ivy for a long time too. You've been consistent with it.
It's just crazy. Like it's just the fans have kind of spoken. They like Poison Ivy, and like it's just cool that she's finally kind of, you know, like pun intended, getting her flowers. You know, like she's finally getting a story that like can flesh her out a little more than like I used to be a bad guy and I'm kind of dating Harley Quinn. You know, like sometimes I'm still kind of a bad guy, but not really.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely thrilled with it, and just I'm so happy I've been with it from the get-go. So.
Oh, yeah.
Tom, what you got?
#2 on my list. You know, this is something that makes me so excited every time it's out. I love reading it right away. It's my favorite follow on Instagram. It, you know, it's definitely a comic book person's comic, and that is Grixley. So these are the most recent Grixley comics. You know, I follow the Patreon, so then I just get these sent to me. That's how you get it. And but you know, you get a ton. This year we had a really crazy one where we got a Black Mirror Grixley 63 that was about the creator making Grixleys through like a different angle and a different, this is not the normal writer for it. And we just got this, and then it turns into a whole monster book. Really great. But usually all Grixley is a guy, the guy who makes it, his name's Nate McDonough, and he goes to his job, his career is buying comics and reselling them. And that's what he does. And that's his full-time job. So he used to live in Pittsburgh, and he could hit up basically the whole entire East Coast, and he would go into a shop and he'd buy a bunch and he'd put sets together and he would sell them on eBay. And that's what he does. So it's all just his trials and tribulations of finding comics and meeting weird store owners and, you know, gathering the inner turmoil he has with buying a book that maybe is too low. He's paying too low of a price, but he knows he can make so much on the other end, and how he morally plays with that. And then just all the fucked up shit that happens throughout a person's day and the small things that he can write about. And it's so super, super fun and funny. And yeah, more importantly, it's all funny. Every single story is funny. There's never any borders. It's drawn very crudely. But it's crazy that, no doubt about it, when this comes out, this is even more than I read this. I read these faster than my #1 book. I know my #1 book is better, but this is probably my favorite book that is coming out this year. So even though it's in my #2, it is probably my favorite. I just know that the next book I'm picking is actually a better book and it'll last the test of time and stuff like that. But yeah, Grixley, I love it so much. Nate McDonough, thank you so much for all the stuff you send me. I appreciate it.
And you know, I understand,
Awesome.
Tom. It is so hard for anything to compete with Spork.
Exactly. Spork was going to be number one, definitely. Yeah. No.
That is a very inside baseball topic for a comic.
Oh yeah, it only.
Yeah,
that's
I like that's very like that's a comic book reader's comic right there.
totally, because maybe he'll find like you know, in the 50 cent bin something from you know, Maximum Carnage, and he knows if he completes Maximum Carnage, even in a lesser order, but you have the complete set, well, you can get some decent money on eBay for Maximum Carnage. Is it a good comic series? It's actually sucks. It's terrible, but because it became a video game and you know there's a bunch of Carnage is such a big character and has a movie later, there's definitely collectors for it. And so like I don't know, just those funny things. So then he'll be like, oh, do I need Maximum Carnage issue number 11 in the series? I think I already have 10 at home and I don't know if I need to get one, but it's so hard not to pass it up. And I don't know, all of that kind of stuff is inside baseball. You're right, Sam. It's just so fun though, and it's so funny, and it's definitely a comic book, you know, enthusiast comic, because if you weren't into comics and you read it, you'd have no idea what the content matter was. You couldn't even follow it. So I love it.
Good pick. Cool. I guess that's me. For my number 2 pick, I would go with from Dark Horse, All 8 Eyes.
Oh,
Very good comic. It was a 4-issue miniseries. Like I said, from Dark Horse. It was basically this college dropout and a homeless man are like on a war together. They end up joining forces to like rid New York City of these giant spiders that are like trying to take over. It's such a great comic. And lots of just great action, great artwork. Love giant bugs. Very much a creature feature comic book, and I loved every bit of it. Highly recommend that if you guys haven't
these
read
covers are amazing.
it.
No,
Yeah,
very fun.
such a great comic.
Definitely not for somebody who has arachnophobia. I
No,
imagine.
definitely not. But very well done.
Good pick.
Awesome. So is my turn then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. Sometimes I lose the order on these things. So I get my next pick here is, you know, you're gonna notice a theme with
DC.
these. I didn't go with a lot of indies this year, it seems. I'm sorry, but like
No, we need you. We need you holding it down.
I guess so. My next one is Action Comics. I think what I like.
What is this? 1940?
Hey, I live there. I live there. I've been watching like a bunch of movies from like 40s and like back these days. Like that's my new thing. I just like watching like older flicks that are like not even like color wasn't even a thing yet, and I'm like, I've been really enjoying it actually. But why I like Action? I think what I enjoy about Action and Detective as well is that they are allowed to play with the characters that are often discarded in the main Superman and Batman books. They're allowed to like give these characters some stories, specifically in Action. Like you get your John Kent stories, you get Steel stories, you get Connor Kent stories, you get Supergirl stories. It's like Superman family back in the day, and frankly, it's written by Phil Kennedy Johnson, who he's a fucking Banff. I'm sorry for cursing, but I just think he's deserving of it. I think he's deserving of it because
For
the
a
dude.
DC book? Whoa.
I know, right? Like he just knows like how to write like a really cool like Superman who upholds his morals, but also is not afraid to like throw down a little bit. Like last year he did his Warworld arc. And one thing I love and like I just drool over in stories sometimes is like when a writer just like has a little bit like has a long extended period on something where you can just completely like it's not just because one thing. that one War World would probably been his one thing, but he continued on the book afterwards, and he even like played with other people's continuity. Even when Superman got his secret identity back, he just goes, no, don't worry, I'll work with it. And like he finds like ways to make it like deep pulls. I remember like the main villain of Action, I think right now, is from a Superman and the Authority annual from like 2021. It's like the last fetches the dark multiverse nonsense they're doing, and I love that. It like how these like every little story germinates to the next one, and I love that about Action. I've kind of been falling in love with like characters who have like very strong moral like codes, if they're good or if they're bad. Even if I don't personally agree with them myself, I find those to be more interesting characters to read about. And the Superman family is exactly that. And like they don't forget about characters like Kenan Kong, the new Superman from China. I loved that story series, and they brought him back, and he's here, and he's cool. And like it's like they all play off of themselves really well. It's just very fun. Superman has been really awesome this year. The regular book has been killer with Joshua Williamson, but this needs more praise in my opinion, and more people need to be reading Action. As long as Phil Gianni Johnson's on it, I'm going to be reading this book. It is worth it in my eyes.
Well, Garrett from Wednesday Comics will be very excited to hear that one other person in Sioux Falls.
Well, that's Garrett right here.
Yeah, there he is.
On a TC Action Comics. That's been awesome.
That's so funny, dude.
Yes. I'm actually planning to jump onto Superman when Jason Aaron starts writing it. Not Action, but Superman. I think 1061.
I think he's doing Action, though.
What's that?
He's doing Action.
Is it Action that he's coming on?
He's doing Action.
That's
because
right. It is Action.
Williamson's going to be continuing Superman.
That's right. It's
I'll pick it up too. He's going to do Bizarro, but like I'll be sad that Phil Kenny Johnson's leaving because he's a fucking man. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron's no slouch.
Yeah. Boom.
That's very true.
Mark's weighing in with us here, or Mark Howd, excuse me. Sorry, Mark. Mark Howd from YouTube is checking in with us here. Best titles this year were the Energon Universe and Spawn Universe titles. 80s, 90s for life. Maximum Carnage rocks.
Yes.
Mark, I got to tell you something about Mark, too, for the record. Mark is an amazing human being. Mark, I miss seeing you, but definitely always love our visits, and hopefully we can go grab a beer soon. So.
Exactly. Mark's about to buy one of Nate's, Maximum Carnage runs on eBay.
There you go. Yeah, the Spawn stuff has been pretty good. Like it's like a consistent favorite for a lot of people. Yep. Like Gunslinger Spawn is doing great. King Spawn was pretty popular. Like all that 90s stuff is, what they say, is popular again. Like the apps makes you gotta be gone for us to miss you, and the 90s is back.
Yeah, hopefully the X-Men will get there.
Bring back X-Men Blue.
Chad was just weighing in. They have a Chinese Superman I never knew. That's right, Chad. What was that, boys? Rebirth?
Kenan Kong. It was in the Rebirth era. New Superman.
New Superman, yeah. Because I have the first 12 of that, and it was pretty cool.
It's really good.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mark, we're on to the gold medalist here. This is a big deal.
Sir.
Who? So this is number one for you, John?
This is number one for me. Any guesses on what this book will be?
Well,
Dark Adventures.
I was honestly gonna try to pull some shit and do that, but I was too lazy to go unearth it.
Let me think about it. I want to actually take a guess at this
because it's got to be. I'm trying to think.
But just for that, Mark, there's your Dark Avengers fix. Right there.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think. There's things
that be hard because you get a lot of older stuff this year.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. That's why it's like what more dark. And he already brought up Blade, Ghost Rider, and stuff like that. So then it's like, is it like Power Rangers or, I don't know. No, John, I don't have a guess.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. This last one, actually, I've been thinking about this book a lot lately. It actually means a lot to me because one, it's kind of a success story for somebody that you've gotten to know and everything. And so I really wanted to lift up from Blood Moon Comics, the recent Haunted House, a love story by my boy Winston Gambro. Why this is my number one is, ladies and gentlemen, this is an idea that manifested into a physical product. So this is akin to Tom doing Spork. This is to, Mark Wagner. This is to everybody out there that's
At
making
Bamboo
comics.
Panel Studios.
But it makes me so happy. So Winston, just so you guys know, Winston was actually the guy that designed Bamboo Panel Studios logo. He designed the Comics by Night logo. He did the 2 book titles that we're working on at Bamboo Panel Studios as well. So Winston is incredibly talented. He does a lot of graphics work for Oni Press, so you'll see his name on the inside cover of Oni Press Publications, and he has his own comic. So this was an outstanding end of the year. It's spooky. It's got a little bit of love in there, a lot of like raw emotions. The lettering was gorgeous, the art and the writing. This was the total package. And this is kind of what I'm looking for now that I'm on a creative journey of making comics with my peeps at Bamboo Panel Studios. And so seeing this just really popped for me. And so that is why this is my number one of the year, was because it is a true, it's a success story. I love it. So.
I can't agree with that more. It was such a good story. I think I read it like 5 times in preparation of the show. So I was like, I know that comic front to back. Very good.
So I do hope to join the ranks of people making stuff. Like Tom's been rocking and rolling with Spork, and a lot of the local guys have done several projects, and here I am like, well, we got 2 in the oven right now, so we're rocking it. And I know Sam's excited for Dottie's to get done, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. It will be good. So that was my number 1.
That's a great pick, John.
Mighty fine pick.
Very.
All right. My number 1 is a book I gushed about already. It's not a single comic. It was a big book, Monica by Daniel Klaus.
Knew it.
And I just loved it. Guys, it tells a story of this imperfect person that comes from an imperfect world where imperfect things happen. And this is a little bit of storytelling that goes throughout it for this imperfect person, Monica. And it's just gets elevated from the amazing art and storytelling and sophistication of the entire process and book. And it's so good. Here's the inside panel that has nothing to do with anything in the comic.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Monica,
Very nice.
number 1.
You want to know something frustrating that happened, Tom? That I
What's
didn't
that?
realize until I put this like determiner on myself. I gave myself a little challenge where I was like, I can't buy any more graphic novels till I've read them all the ones I got.
Yeah,
Can't do it. No more.
Hard to do that sometimes.
And so it turns out I have 333 of them, by the way.
Yeah, sometimes that's the way it is.
And I got 4 of them written already, read already. So, plenty more to finish.
Yeah,
But I was like, I really wanted to read that one. So I may have to borrow your copy if I could.
Of course, it's
Because I would
available.
love to read
anytime.
it, but I made this determiner myself. I can't buy a single comic, man.
That's a
I
smart move.
can't buy a graphic novel, I should say.
This is here for you, Sam. Come and get it.
God bless you,
Oh.
my friend.
Boom.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that one previously.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I guess that puts me up next. My number 1 favorite comic of 2023. I've talked about him before. I love Kyle Starks. This is also another Dark Horse comic. It's Where Monsters Lie. And I love this series so much. I'm a huge slasher fan. I love horror movies. This is like just made up slashers. It's not any iconic slashers, but they're kind of similar to some iconic slashers. And they live in this gated community, and it's what they do when they aren't on killing sprees. They live in this gated community together. It's
I love
awesome.
that.
Yes. And there is a cop that from his childhood, one of them almost killed him when he was at a summer camp. And he has made it his goal in life is to like hunt them down and kill them. So he is like trying to go at them the legal way or the illegal way.
Love it, dude.
I just
I
love
love that premise.
It's just
I'll
a
have to-
huge fight with the law. and all these just slasher characters in this phenomenal book. It's only 4 issues. Might be a volume 2 coming. I sure hope there is, but I love this comic so much. So good.
I love that idea. Just killers just hanging out. It's like, yeah. So you remember Betty? I was,
You gotta cut the
Betty.
grass.
I filleted her. Yeah, like you filleted her. That's crazy, man. Thought I was gonna do that yesterday.
Yeah,
That's great. I love that.
Mark, you're getting the biggest of thumbs up from Chad there too.
Oh.
He said it in all caps, so he's yelling. He's yelling praises. So.
So he's read it.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
He said that's an awesome series.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
So this one,
Uh-oh.
you guys got any guesses?
Cyborg.
Actually, not. It's not my favorite.
I know.
It's not my favorite run on Cyborg. I finished it. It was fun. It had cool ideas. Not my favorite though. Not
That's
worth really
Silas.
talking about.
Could
Yeah, I
it
would
be
say
Justice
the
League of America?
Infield Gang Massacre.
No, that book didn't come out fast enough for me to like keep my enthusiasm for it as much. I still love it. It's a good book, but it's just like, oh my God, you guys like got to put this out a little faster for me to really like keep the story in my head. But no, my book is not a DC one. It is my superhero husband, Moon Knight.
Yay! Your superhero husband. That's a new development.
Yeah, my
Congratulations.
superhero husband.
Oh, congrats!
I like me a mess.
Oh my
And whoa. And we didn't get invited to the wedding.
Yeah. What?
Just Mark likes to keep things quiet. You know,
What was it? in Cairo or something? Or?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, we were right on top of the Sphinx.
Oh my
It's
god.
fucked up. I would have
Uh,
given him a diamond off of our old vending machine.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, though, this book actually started in 2020, I believe, due to the show coming out. Way better than the show, but a good chunk of this book was in 2023, so I count it. And it ended in 23. So I guess why I love this book is because it gives me a lot of reasons to not love it. In fact, hate it, but it makes it work. It found a way to take most of Mark Spector's like secondary cast, like his wife, like Frenchie, his like compatriot, and his like secondhand man. A lot of his supporting cast just off the table. They're not here anymore. Stop worrying about it. It found a way to spin off a story that made absolutely no sense in the Avengers run and just make it work in this book where he took over the world. It found a way to make a Moon Knight book last 30 issues. That is crazy. I would never have expected that out of Moon Knight. And it let the characters grow, and it showed off his Jewish heritage without like trying to like put menorahs everywhere and stuff. It showed off ways to like show how brutal he is, or he's like trying to be better without being ham-fisted like the last issue of City of the Dead was. I feel like I'm throwing a lot of like sideways jabs here. I'm sorry. But like it found ways to just like not feel like they have to put Raoul Bushman into this book again. It bring new characters to light. It bring old characters back, but in new different ways. And when it did bring back characters, like the annual it had with Werewolf by Night, badass. Legitly, it was scary good. And I think what makes me more like just astonished by it is that it found ways to go bypass my inhibitions to go like, I don't know, I think you're gonna screw this up, and they don't do it. Like it had books where it took me 2 minutes to read it, and I was like, oh, that was kind of a waste of time with some books I do. But it's like, nope, I was okay with that. That's just enough story I needed. I don't care. It was wonderful. It brought in like a whole other like Moon Knight character in Hunter's Moon, where it makes sense that there's just another one, and that it's not ham-fisted. It's really cool. Like the writing in it is fantastic. Jed McKay it's fantastic with this. The art in it is stupid good. It found ways to in one issue, it found ways to sideways reference like a Batman and Spawn crossover because he crosses over with Venom in it. It was really cool. Just this is probably the story I picked up first every week if I had it. And guess what? It's still technically going because Vengeance of Moon Knight is just basically issue 31.
Nice.
But it's a number 1, so they can get the little more buys from it. So if you love Moon Knight just as much as I do, or have just an inkling of who he is, like of interest in him, this is a fantastic run to start with because you don't have to learn a lot of backstory. The backstory weaves itself in. It'll intrigue you enough to go back and read more about it. I can't gush about this book more. In fact, people have already heard me gush about it 10 million times before. Like if you follow me on my TikTok there, like you'll hear like 10 million reviews about it and stuff like that. Like I love this book. It is the golden piece in 2023 for me. I cannot say anything bad about it. That I just love it. It's a fantastic book, man.
Heck yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. That is our favorite comics of 2023. I hope everybody had an awesome 2023 and a happy new year. Anybody else got anything they want to add before we shut it down?
I do have one question for you guys.
We got to do our recap, too.
I do have one question for you guys, though, quick. Was 2023 a overall good year for comics for you?
Wow. Oh, wow.
Like, do you think that you had, like, was this a very fun, entertaining year? Was there just was it hard for you to pick good ones? Was it hard? Like, was it difficult? Was it
better than years past, honestly?
Like, I think this year was very good for comics. Like, it was better than last year's, I think.
Yeah.
I had a really good lot of fantastic titles.
I'm admittedly giggling because this was also a very painful year financially for me when I was getting my treasure trove of stuff for Comics by Night. Where it just blew my budget like 5x out the window. Like I am still like processing stuff and organizing stuff because I bought so much for this other show. And so I have a lot of reading ahead of me. But it was an exceptional year in that regard. But in terms of stuff that's been coming out, it is nice to see all the magical hoo-ha from Marvel on the shelves. That's been a lot of fun. Love seeing the Werewolf by Night and the Moon Knight annual. Love the Werewolf by Night #1 that they did last October. I still haven't even read it just because I want to read all the old stuff first so that I can maximize my value on it when I do read it. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was a cool year. Good options. Great creators. So
yeah.
Honestly, I thought it was a down year. You know, I'm out of the big two stuff. Nothing's really grabbing me there. The stuff I am picking up doesn't grab me. Like I don't have a Saga, you know, Saga's still coming out sporadically. I don't have a Lazarus though. Something that is just like truly next level of great comic booking that is from the big two. Yes, there are great horror stuff and there's great, you know, there are great books out there, right? No doubt about it. There are great books. We just went over a bunch of them. But just for me this year, it seems slim pickings when it comes to like a tried and true series that I think elevates to the same level of Preacher, Why the Last Man, Watchmen, Dark Knight, just these books that go to the next upper echelon. You know, I think some of the ones that have in the past were the Sean Phillips and Ed Brubaker Reckless books. When those were coming out, those are going to, I feel like, really last the test of time and will be regarded. But I just felt that last year in 2022, it was still a plethora of books that were being worked on during COVID when people got free money from the government to sit at home and they could just work and work and work and they didn't have to go to their actual jobs. They just got to make comics. And so in 2021 and 2022, I just felt like we had a plethora of amazing books come out. And so in turn, I guess, yes, even though these books that I talked about today and everybody else talked about today, those are all amazing books, no doubt. I don't know. I feel like we're missing that quintessential series. And maybe that quintessential series still is Saga, you know, put out 4 issues or something this year.
Yeah. They can't all be Dark Avengers, Tom. Okay. Like
they can't all be Dark Avengers. You know, that's no doubt about it. And I think Tom King tries to do that. I think Tom King does some good things, but I would say that Tom's King series in 2020, 2021, and 2022 were better than his series in 2023. So that that's just my feelings. Don't get me wrong, still a good year, but overall, maybe a down year, Sam.
No, I can see that though, because there wasn't maybe I'm seeing, maybe someone in the comments can say something that did come out, but there wasn't like a something's killing the children this year. There wasn't a preacher. There wasn't like this hit indie thing that everybody was like, I need that. Like there's the big two, but we're always going to have the big two. The big two will always put out something good no matter what.
Totally. Like, look, Greg Rucka is a national treasure for us in the comic book community. And when he puts his mind behind a really, really good book, it goes to the next level. And he's been doing a lot of co-writing. So we miss this hole for intellectual espionage, high impact, super serious comic booking that we would get from him. So I think that is one big loss. You only get 4 comics of Saga. That's tough. That Texas Blood switches to a mini series, puts it out every so often. You don't have the same kind of, I felt, great series coming from Vault and some of these other ones that have put out great series in the past. Now, I think Dark Horse elevated this year, and they really were. Dark Horse and Boom, they really are trying to work hard. And there have been some good books, no doubt about it. Just
forgot about Boom. Yeah, they put some good stuff out this year.
Yeah, exactly. So don't get me wrong. But there's also let's say Jeff Lemire always writes something really, really good, I feel like. But right now he's kind of wrapping up, still doing Black Hammer a little bit. He has the Fish Flies that is all together. He has the Phantom Road, which is just a kind of fun, goofy book, but it's a scary book, but it's not. We're not talking Underwater Welder or Sweet Tooth, some of these things that were elevated comics to the next level. We're not getting a box office poison this year. And but maybe we are with Monica, and maybe we are with some of ones that I just missed. So
I can totally see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel that perspective actually when you put it like that. Yeah.
Mark, do you think what do you think personally? Are you did you think 2023 was a up year or down year for comics?
For me, I felt it was an up year because I can think of years past, and I think it's what you find. Because I know that in years past, I'd get certain comics, and I'd be like, "Why am I even reading this?" It's like I would read it, and I wouldn't have any idea what I just read, and I was like, "That's just automatic drop right there."
Yeah.
And it could just be me. It could be stress from life, work. It could be a number of things. I don't know, but for whatever reason, I did connect with a lot of series this year. I've found a lot of great reads, but I do agree what Tom is saying, though. There wasn't anything that's just like at the moment doesn't seem like anything's leaving that legacy that for the future from this year anyways. That's like an ongoing series that's going into next year, and it's pumping out.
Yeah, we didn't get the start of Walking Dead. It's not. We don't have a series that's within the first 4 graphic novels of Walking Dead or something like that. And maybe there is, and I'm just not reading it, and someone can tell me. But don't get me wrong, there's great series, 8 Billion Genies. That could be something like that. It's a mini series, and so you do have some stuff that is like that, right? I didn't put that on my list, but I read that. That is such a good series.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
There are things, but I just think in the past there's been more.
Chad had a really cool comment here. I love the Wolverine series with Beast turning evil. That was fun and messed up story that kept me in it.
That was very good.
Beast is Hank McCoy. Settle down. Jesus.
Chill what a flip on his character. I am intrigued to see how they put the genie back in the bottle for that one.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you're gonna have to kill that man. And then resurrect like a younger version of him or something. And you already did that. You can't do that again.
Yeah.
This is Marvel, Sam. They sure can do it again.
Oh, no.
There's literally comics where he's just talking to himself. Like another version of him talking to him.
Oh, man. Well, should we do the quick recap?
Absolutely.
Yes.
of our
Okay,
results
now
from it.
guys, this is this recap that is going to be playing on Mark's local show in our Mark's local shop in Tennessee. So we can't fuck this up.
Okay.
And first of all, we only have a couple minutes. So Sam, I know this is going to be hard
1
for
minute.
you. You need to zip
That's
it up
30 seconds to 1 minute.
and zip it up quick.
I've never been more called out.
Wow.
Well, I mean, come on.
I get it.
We were just
get
on
it.
the show. It's running right now, live time, 59 minutes. We have 45 minutes of Sam just breaking down these amazing comics. So I love it. I'm here to listen to it. I follow Sam I downloaded TikTok just so I can listen to Sam talk for a
My
long
9-minute reviews.
about comics. I
appreciate that,
absolutely
homie.
am here all day for it. But I do know that format that we're trying to fit it in isn't the best for Sam's talking of comics. So, and
I'll go fast, I swear.
I'm throwing stones in glass houses, Sam. Everybody knows I like to fucking talk a lot too, and I can go on for a long time. So I got to buckle it up too. Mark is gonna obviously destroy this. He's gonna have a really strong, deep voice and say minimally things, and it's gonna sound good and stoic and
True
cool.
influencer, really.
Well, man, a few words.
Yes. But so that's why we got to kind of we got to start it, and then we should kind of start it, and then Mark, you should go first. Sam, you go second. I'll go, and then we wrap up with the granddaddy himself, Johnny Boy.
Is that because I'm
and-
old? What?
No, because you're the king of it all, you know. And then then I think we should all should we go around in circle 3 times, or
I think we
just
should
go-
do the circle because
Okay.
third place, second place, first.
Perfect.
So just title a book and a brief why, like a 1-sentence why.
Yeah, like this was a dope book.
Elevator pitch.
Got it.
Less than
I'm
elevator.
ready.
Yeah.
Floor to floor pitch.
All right. Who's going?
Mark will go first because he
See
can
this?
lead the charge.
Blair, not Tom nailing everyone's personalities in 60 seconds. You're not wrong, Blair. You're not wrong.
I can't help it, Blair.
Welcome to the
These
show.
these are my boys. These are my good friends. I love all of these men dearly.
Okay, who's starting? Marcus. starting.
So I'll introduce it and then
Yeah.
just briefly say that introduce what's happening and then
Yeah.
throw the books up and then close it out with something about check us out on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
So something like that sound cool to y'all?
If you,
That sounds good, dude.
yeah, heck yeah. If you even want to give your shop or the shop that's playing this a shout out too, just be like,
Yeah.
hey, thanks for letting us hang out with you for the next 30 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you
If
can be
y'all-
like, welcome to whatever comics. Thanks. You look at you picking up books at this comic shop. I
Boom.
don't know. That'd
Heck
be
yeah.
cool.
I like it.
All right, Mark, we're live.
Welcome to Everscape. We are a comic book look. Thank you for being here on this Wednesday or through the week to pick up your comics. We're going to tell you our favorite comics of 2023 for me, Where Monsters Lie, All Eight Eyes, and Pink Elephant.
For me, we were going to go Detective Comics. If you like horrific stories about Batman, you'd like that. If you like Superman and all his family, you like Action Comics, just as I did. And if you love Moon Knight, just as I did, you'll love the newest series right here.
Hell yeah. And I got a bunch of good books coming out this year, but number 3 on my list is Poo Poo Pee Pee, Carolyn Cash, Rockin' and Rollin'. Next up, I got my boy Nate McDonough with Grixley, always bringing out great books. And my favorite book of the year was Monica by Daniel Klaus.
All right, and I don't know how to follow these guys at all, but I actually brought the wrong series to this, but all intents and purposes, Gargoyles Ongoing. It has been a solid read, so definitely check that out if you're a fan of that 90s cartoon. Hit it, put that pedal to the metal and rock and roll. Second place from DC Comics, Poison Ivy Ongoing. It has been fantastic. So for 2023, a strong candidate there. Definitely check that out. And then for my number 1 pick for 2023, this is from Blood Moon Comics, Winston Gambro. This is Haunted House, a love story. Definitely check it out. Art, writing, everything. Sick. It's so great. Boom.
Cool. We are a comic book look. Check us out live on Wednesday nights around 9 p.m. Central. Keep it comics and bagging and boarding's never boring.
Boom. All right, awesome. Are we like ending the show on that, or do you want to actually end the show?
No, I mean now.
Or is
I
that
think
just a
was sick.
segment?
I think
Okay,
we
I
should
can
all
I
talk
can edit
about-
that. Yeah,
I think we should all talk about how dope that was, right?
that was
Yeah,
that was
nice and
amazing.
clean.
Yeah, that was
Wow. And I
Perfect.
think that was like a minute and a half or something like that, like under 2 minutes. Did you see
Perfect.
how quick and
Very,
convenient?
we were very professional. I felt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, God, great job, all of us.
Heck yeah. Boom. Good job, Mark. Good
Yeah,
job.
thanks, Mark.
Good job, Tom.
Heck yeah.
I just made it up. So
Mark gets 20 figurative points.
Yes, definitely.
I don't know. We
agree.
don't know we don't know what the scores are, but he gets 20 extra points.
Blair's giving us the clap
Thank you,
emoji.
Blair.
So, that's awesome. Oh man. Well,
All
cool,
right.
cool. Well, on that note, I suppose we can shut it down. Anybody else have anything they want to lift up? No, Tom. No.
No, man, we've been going for over an hour. I want to shut it down.
You should read Spork.
Shout out
No,
to
we're gonna
Sport.
read Spork, man.
You should read and look at Spork and look at all the wonderful images in Spork.
Yeah, I don't even have any left. I would have to print more. To be
Oh,
You
Wow.
sold out. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did. I sold out,
Congrats.
baby.
Heck yeah.
check
All
out
right.
Bamboo Studios when we get our stuff out. It's gonna be dope.
Yo,
Right.
yo.
Mark is awesome.
Mark is awesome.
There you go.
All right. Well, from my side of the world, Comics by Night is coming back. It's been a little hiatus there with starting a new JOB. I had to kind of take some time to learn the new ropes of life and stuff, but ready to rock and roll. So the crypt will be back open soon, and we will be talking more spooky reads. And rumor has it that in addition to all of this awesome work, that there might be another stream coming up on the horizon soon.
Booty.
Oh. I will definitely be excited to premiere that, and yeah, it'll be fun. So more to come on that, but I'm still hanging out with my boys here at a comic book. Look, this is the first, the only, the gospel. So I will let Mark shut it down.
Well, cool. Oh man, keep it comics, and somebody else can say,
Big and boarded, never boring.
"Ooh."
Did I do good?